Hello to YouTube. Just like to show you guys my first custom made wood box mod. Here it is right here. Basically this is made out of a 1/4 inch poplar that you can get at any hardware store. I got this one from Lowe's, and they I think it's about a 4-foot length of it. Costs about it's less than $4, so it's pretty cheap, and you can probably make, I'd say, 3 to 4 of these boxes with that size of wood. Again, this is my first one that I built. Let me give you an idea of the dimensions. This is about 4 1/4 inch high and 2.5 inches wide, and the depth is about 1 3/8. So that's the size of it. And as far as the internals, that's what it looks like inside. Again, this is an unregulated box mod, dual 18650. The 510 connector is from Fatdaddyvapes. This is the self-adjusting one, so whenever you put your addy on, the center pin moves, because it's got a spring inside of it. So, and I also purchased the 22mm nut with it, so as you can tell there, this is the actual nut, and it's keyed, so when you put it together it doesn't move, so it just makes it looks flush when you put your 22mm addy on there. And then the switch is it's a horn switch or anti-vandal switch that I got from eBay. This one cost me about, I think, $6 shipped, and it's the one. This one is a flush button. And let me remove the battery so I can show you how I built the contacts. Basically, this is I use copper springs too. This is one piece, so one piece of wire wound to make 2 spring contacts, and I just soldered a 14 gauge solid copper wire to the back of it, and that connects to the negative connection for the 510 connector right above there. And for the positive contacts for the battery, I bought some copper plate from Lowe's, and I cut it to size, and for it to make contact with the flat top batteries, I just kind of put a couple indentation there using a punch, so it's kind of, so there's like a kind of like a button there, or indentation basically, so it'll make contact with the top of the battery, or the positive part of the battery. And I soldered another 14 gauge solid copper wire, routed up to the switch, and from the switch to the positive contact on the 510 connector. So again, just this is my first one that I built, and as far as making it, I just kind of started cutting. You know, I didn't really have any kind of dimension. Basically, I kind of worked around the battery. First thing is I want to make sure that, you know, the battery fits in there. 2 batteries fits in there pretty just enough so it doesn't move. That's why you can see here there's a kind of like I made an enclosure inside the box for the batteries so they don't shift around. And plus, all of my connections aren't really fastened there permanently. They're all free floating. Basically, it's kind of held in place by this 14 gauge solid copper wire. Same thing here. This is not glued or screwed down. It's just held in place by the wires, and it doesn't move. I mean, this one moves a little bit, but once you put the batteries on there, it pretty much in there pretty good. It doesn't move. I also put some magnets in the box and in the cover to hold it in place. And this foam right here, because this box is taller than the diameter of the battery, I have to put a foam in there so the battery doesn't fall off or shift. I just wanted to hold it in there, both the batteries. I just want to hold the batteries in there more securely, so I added a piece of foam there. So basically this door just kind of snaps in there, and I put these two kind of grooves here so I can easily remove the cover. So like I said, these aren't fastened there permanently, so but when you put the batteries in, it stays in there. So and basically there's just enough room up here for, you know, the wires, the switch, and for the 510 connector center pin to move freely up and down. So I mean, I could have made it bigger to, you know, so, but I just kind of built this so there's just enough space for everything in here. So, and also here, as you can see, it's recessed a little bit. It's not flush because, or it's not on top of the piece of wood, because the 510 connector threading is not long enough for this 1/4 inch of wood. I won't be able to screw the nut if I kind of just place the 510 connector on top. So I had to use a what do you call that? A Forstner bit to drill out. I think it's about 1/8 of an inch or halfway down. Then I set the 510 connector and I'm able to screw the nut on. So just something to think about if you're going to build one of these, you know, and you're going to use a 1/4 inch of material, that you have to do that. You can't just drill a hole, set the 510 connector, and basically you can't screw the nut on because the threading is too short. But if you're going to use like a Hammond box, then it should work perfectly, because Hammond boxes are pretty thin. So let's go ahead and test it out. I guess I'll use my actually use my tow battery here. And as far as battery life, and I'm pretty sure you guys heard it before, it does last a long time, because I've been using this, you know, on and off for probably a couple hours, past 2 hours, and you know, from the starting 4.2 volts, now it's at 4 volts, I think 3.94 volts. So it's pretty good. If I was using one battery, and I'm using Sony VTC4s. So, and as far as battery life, it does. And again, this is a dual parallel 18650 build. Oh, and my tow battery, it's a 0.35 home build. Yeah, using say dual coil 5 reps using 22 gauge Canthal, and this is single wire build. So basically it's just one piece of wire. It's not two separate pieces of coil. It's just I made one coil, fed one of the wires in the center post, then made my other coil on the other side. So 0.35. Let's juice it up. And also in the near future here, I'm gonna etch some designs on the cover, the back, or the side, whatever. But right now, I'm not worried about it as long as it works. So here we go. I'm gonna fire it up. So right now, again, the battery is around 3.9 to 4 volts. But here it is. I mean, let me tell you, this hits pretty hard compared to my regular mods. You know, I got a couple copper mods. I got the Nemesis and the Pegasus. This shit hits a lot harder, and that's probably because of the 2 batteries. So 2 parallel batteries just makes sense, right? So let me line up my air holes. So yeah. Here we go. I'm also using the 2 puffs flow drip tip, and I have it set to maybe a quarter of the hole open or exposed, so not fully open, because I already have plenty of holes on the tow battery. So I'm also using just a regular 50/50 juice, so I mainly use this for my tanks, but that's all I have right now. I still need to purchase some juice from Vapeaholic. Just so you guys can see, I'm gonna try out my Fogger V4 Plus with the modified air holes. I think I used I don't know what size, but bigger than the stock, so This is like a 0.6, 0.7 build, dual coil, using a 26 gauge Canthal and rayon wick. There you have it, folks. My first wooden box mod. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you for watching.